Hey guys, it's Rick here, and today I'm going to show you how to easily and cheaply outline your house with C9 Christmas lights. You can see here, I'll show you what the house looks like in a nighttime picture, but you can see the C9 lights going all the way down the gutter line and up the eaves, as well as across the garage. I got a bid from a contractor to do this, a few contractors actually, and those bids ranged anywhere from $2,800 to $4,500 for these lights. I've done this for about 500 bucks total. So I'll show you some easy suggestions and tips on how you can do the same. Now, the most important thing in this entire process is going to be the type of lights that you use. Some tips and techniques. So you're going to need a C7 or a C9 bulb and strand. Now, this is a common, the difference there is size. A C9 is a little bit larger, a C7 is a smaller bulb. Now, this is just a strand of, this is actually RGB color lights that I use around the yard, but these types of lights don't work well, and they don't work well for a few reasons. One, you'll see that based on the design of this, the cord comes off of the end. So for me, where I'm attaching directly onto brick for precise outlines around my windows and trim, this won't work well because I need a clip or a fastener to attach to the brick and then attach this light in. And so what I like to use is just Christmas strand, C9 strand line. And this is easy to find. You can buy that by the foot at a lot of hardware stores, or you can order it online. It's a little bit harder to get around Christmas, of course, because everybody's doing lights. But if you work in advance, you can find this pretty easily. Another thing that I found is that I bought these pack 25 clear incandescent strands at Home Depot, and I got them on sale for like $7 a box on Black Friday. And this is easy. Let me show you what they look like. Here we go, right here. So I've taken the bulbs out. These come with a standard incandescent bulb, but there's a few reasons why I like these. And the first reason I like these is because you can see here on the end that this is flat. And so this allows me to put my hot glue directly into this and then place that onto the brick and secure them, as you see that I've done here. So I don't need any additional mounts. I can simply put some hot glue on the back of that bulb and hold it. Whereas if I were trying to use a strand light that I've purchased, you can see that's not going to stick if I use hot glue. I'm going to need something else to use there. So speaking of hot glue, I picked up this hot glue gun at Home Depot, and just a tip and suggestion for you, make sure that you use the long sticks of hot glue, because if you use the little short craft sticks that you buy in a lot of places, you're going to spend a lot of time going back and forth and adding glue. So what I've done here, I'll show you. It's real simple. I put 1 to 2 dabs, or 1 large dab, and then I simply place the bulb. Hold it for a few seconds, and that's it. Now, you want to avoid this as much as possible. I've got most of it on the actual brick, and that'll hold. If you place it on a seam here, a mortar seam, what's going to happen is that hot glue isn't going to adhere, and it's going to break suction or break adherence, and it's going to snap off. Make sure that you're always putting it on the brick. Another few suggestions as you plan your outlines is to plan it ahead and make sure that your spacing is the same. Now, does that matter for most people? Probably not, but I have a little bit of OCD. So I actually count the number of bricks as I start and go 1, 2, 3, 4, bulb in the middle there. Then on this side, then I'll start and I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 to make sure that my alignment is perfect. And then the spacing is easy. From there, you just stretch the cord as you go up. If you have detail work like these corbels, this gives you an opportunity to really do some cool things. Now, in the daytime, yes, you can see the cord, but at night, it looks really cool. And I'll show you some pictures and add a video of that in later. So you can see there how I've actually accented that corbel as part of this window treatment here. You can see all the bulbs as they go up there. This is my garland light. If you'd like to see a video on how I do that, then you can click on one of the links here. Now, another one of the reasons why I like this strand wire like this is because you can cut it to the precise lengths for your windows. So a mistake that I see, it's not really a mistake, but what people do is they buy these in these preset sets of lights, and then they just use it until they're out of cord, or they add a cord, and then they have a whole lot of lights left over on the end. If you ever see houses that are done professionally with Christmas lights, you'll always notice that there are very distinct and clear outlines for each set, and then there's not lights that string between those, and that's because they're using this Christmas light wire, and they're cutting it. So as you get to the end, wherever the end of that is for you, the end of your outline, so at the end of the window there, I'll give you an example. Say this is the extra spot of where I don't need this bulb or any bulbs on the end of this. So you simply take something, these are electrical cutters, and you just literally cut it. Now you're going to use what's called vampire plugs. And vampire plugs, see I have a whole bucket of them here that I've gotten from Ace Hardware. You can buy these individually. You can also buy them online from Christmas suppliers, Amazon. Again, harder to find during Christmas, etc. But they're there. So I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to switch over and show you on the bottom light here as I do it, because I don't want to waste one of the plugs. So I'm going to set it up, set the camera up. I'm using a tripod here, so bear with me. Okay, so you can see here that I'm at the end of my window outline. This is actually the last bulb. I don't want a bulb here because of the spacing. So this is the last bulb on my outline, except I have all of this wire left. So again, the mistake that people often make is they'll just string this along to the next section, and then you can see those lights along the ground, and they don't look good. So I'm going to take my electrical clippers here, and I'm going to cut all the way down at the end here. Generally, if you cut in the middle, then you can save this wire, but I want to make sure that I have a long lead wire for my extension cord. And then I'm going to use those vampire plugs. And these, again, you can find these online. You have male ends, and you have the female ends of the receptacles. And you'll see here, they're called vampire plugs because they have little metal teeth on the inside that then clip into the wire. Now, because this is going to be my power wire, I need the male end that will plug into my power cord. Now, let me get my cord here to show you. It's going to be harder to see, but the real simple way of knowing which end is which in terms of these plugs is, you'll see there's a little ribbed, if this will focus, there's a little ribbed version of this wire, little ribbed side of this wire, and then this wire is smooth. So you see smooth wire, and you can see, let me get the camera to focus, the ribbed side, smooth, ribbed. There you go, there you can see it, ribbed side, smooth side. The ribbed side is always going to go to the large plug. So you see on your male plug, you have a large plug, neutral, and hot wire. You don't really need to remember that. Just remember the rib side always goes to the large end on your plug. Same thing, if you look at your female end, you've got a large end, small end. The rib side always goes to the large. The smooth side always goes to the small. Easy way to remember. And then it's really easy. So I'm going to take my rib side, I'm going to look, I'm going to line that up with the side of the wire there. It just goes in, snaps right in, and then there's this little cat piece that slides on, and then you just push it to, just like that. Now you have an end of the wire without all of those lights going on beside it. So another reason that I like using these versus if I had planned ahead, I could have bought 250, 500 feet, even 1,000 feet of the actual Christmas line just like this. And it comes like this on a spool, and you just cut it to the lengths that you need. I waited until the last minute and I couldn't get any in. And I've sort of been researching and studying this over the past few years. So I decided to go ahead and make the leap this year and outline the entire house. So I found that this was a cheap alternative. This wire sells for like 69 cents a foot at Ace Hardware, or I got this for 25 feet for $7. Now you could use the incandescent bulbs that are on here. They're just these simple bulbs here. Now I wanted an LED bulb. One, because I run about 30,000 lights, and so I can't run that many incandescents. I need the LED function. So what I bought, you can buy these boxes of bulbs, and you can get these online, or these came from Ace Hardware, and they're LED bulbs. And then you simply just unscrew the incandescent bulb and then screw in your LED bulb, and you're good to go. Now you can take this as far as you'd like, or as simple as you'd like. Maybe you just have a few arches that you want to outline. Maybe you want to outline your front. So what I've done here is I've outlined this entire window, which is about a 12-foot window. We've outlined the roof, the gutters, etc. Also built a few light balls. These are made with chicken wire and lights. There's some really cool tutorials online if you want to learn how to do that. You can see here where I've outlined my entire door. So I've outlined the door here. I've also outlined this window. Oh, excuse me. Window with lights. And then you can see where, again, you just run your cord. So the same way that I've actually done the columns also. These are really cool at night. They light up really bright. School bus coming through. Apologize. And then I've run my wires this way. And then I've outlined the side of the garage up. And then I've outlined the garage here. So I've outlined, and again, you can see the corbels, how I've done those corbels for a nice design. That one's a little bit cleaner because I didn't start and end a wire right in the middle, but they look really nice. And then you can see the outline there. And so what happens is, I'll include it in the video. You can pull it from the corner here in the cul-de-sac, and you can see the amount of lights that I have just in terms of outline. And boy, does it pop. It makes a statement. It's cheap. Let's say cheap. It's relatively cheap, especially compared to what it's going to cost you if you pay someone to do this professionally. But it's easy. Use those cheap lights. Get you some vampire plugs. Do it yourself, guys. You'll be really happy of the results. You'll be the envy of your entire neighborhood. I've had a lot of neighbors come up and say, how much did it cost you to have you do that? And I'm like, I've been out here doing it every day. If you have any questions, if there's anything that I can answer that maybe can help you with your project, please feel free to drop a comment below. Happy holidays, guys. Be well. So here's the finished product in terms of the outline. I ran out of bulbs, so I've got a few more that I need to get for the window that I showed you guys earlier. But you can see just how nice it looks. And, you know, I probably went a little bit overboard. But again, you can do this pretty cheap and easily on your own. You can see too, one of the things that I think is cool, I showed you guys the corbels earlier. And you can see just how nice those look at night. Gives it that little extra pop because you can see the corbels from the street. So really cool. So here it is. So I thought about a few things after I ended the closing section there of the video that I wanted to show you in a little bit more detail. And I have a broken plug here, a broken female receptacle vampire plug, so I can show you easily on this. So again, we talked about the difference between the rib side and the smooth side of your wire. And so this is hard to see on camera, but you can see that rib side and the smooth side there. You'll see this very easily when you've got the wire in front of you. You can feel it, you can see it. It's not going to be hard for you to identify. When you go to put on your plug, it's really simple. So again, always remember that the wide portion of the plug always goes to the rib side, and the smooth side always goes to the small portion of the plug. And so you'll see the vampire teeth on the back there, on the inside there, and they correspond with the wide and the small portions of the plug. So I've got the wide portion of the plug here, and that Vampire plug is on the left. So I'm going to line this up. I'm going to look at my wire. Here's the rib side here. And so simply, you're going to look at it. Actually, rib side here. You can flip your plug around, depends on which way you want it. And you literally just put it in. It just snaps right in like this. It's got a little spot here where your wire can go in and then down, just like that. Again, just line it up, make sure that the rib side is on the big portion of the wire. Just like that. Once you have it on there, you take the little clip, slide on, like so, and boom, just like that. You have your wire. Now this is cool because you can create your own extension cords also. So instead of buying expensive extension cords, get you a big spool of wire. I had 250 foot of wire. This is actually a higher gauge. It doesn't matter, you can use either. And you can get in different colors to match your decor, etc. And you make your own extension cords and wire things together. You can also get on these plugs where the side snaps out. Let me see if I have one that I can show you. Perfect, this one here. So on this plug, you'll see, that it has a solid side and an open side, just like this one that I just put. So this would be an in plug you'd put on, and it would be the in plug. You can't run wire out the other side of that. However, if you use a plug, you can get the Vampire plugs that have this little opening, and you just take your things, pull that right off, and now your wire can pass straight through. So say I've got this length of wire, but I want to run, instead of running multiple cords off the end, I want to run power from the middle of it over to my other column. I did this multiple times. You just line up the ribbed and the smooth. Again, put it on. Then I'd put my end cap there. And then now I've got a plug in the middle of my wire that I can then run off and connect to my other lights. So it saves you time, it saves you money, a lot of money with extension cords, things like that. So I did want to show you a little bit closer detail of how you could do that in the event that you were interested in learning that. One last comment on these bulbs. So one of the reasons why I like the wire lighting here is because if you have a light that burns out, all you gotta do is replace the bulb. A lot of the strands, a lot of the C9 strands I run in my yard, they are, if the bulb goes out, the bulb's out. They're LEDs, they're encapsulated, they're enclosed, and you can't actually change the bulb, and so now you've got a dead bulb. And I've got several dead bulbs in my light, and it really bothers me, that OCD in me. So using these cord strings like this allows you to be able to change those out. So again, hope these tips have been helpful and useful for you. Any questions, let me know. All right, take care.